Good evening, it's Kuro. Got some Shimakaze games, ranked games for you tonight. Made my push from rank 6 to rank 5, and this game definitely was a highlight. Uh, I believe off the top of my head it's the second highest damage, but probably the most impactful game that I've had. Um, uh, I I basically just am able to get in on the flank and just flip it on the enemy, and they just fall apart. And just want to kind of show you how I kind of do this, because this isn't something that I just YOLO'd right up there. Um, this is a methodical, you know, planned move where I'm planning every step of my push up here, and my planning who my targets are, all of that. Going over the matchmaking, it's actually relatively rough matchmaking for us. We've got, one cruiser uh, matchmaking. We've got a Zao, they've got a Wooster. That's a huge amount of presence that they're going to have with that radar on the cap that my team's just not going to have, and we're going to have to try to find a way to deal with that. And I know that I've got to I'm probably gonna have to try to, you know, uh, go on crazy cat. I'm gonna have to try to make that difference. Now I don't know what my Zal's doing here. This isn't really a good Zal position. Um, you know, if I were a Zal, I'd come out here, just somewhere around these islands, and even G1, where you can get shots back in here on any DDs behind the island, and just be ready to kite away. That's where I would want to be if I was in a Zao. But this guy is acting like he brought his Des Moines or something, and it's an issue. The enemy DD, he does the correct play. He's not cutting bait. He's jumping right in, and he's taking A, and there's nothing that we can do to stop him. We don't have radar. This guy basically just pushed right in here and said, deal with it. And that's an excellent play on his behalf. Um, my first torps I launch are aimed at if this DD goes to leave cover. I want to flood this area with torps, maybe catch him leaving as he's trying to leave the cap. Unfortunately, my RPF is still pointing at the island. This guy is doing the I'm dug in like a tick routine, and he's basically, I call it strongholding. He's basically prepared to die in this cap in order to delay my team as long as possible. And without radar, it's going to be exceedingly difficult to root this guy out. Now, if you look, my RPF has been on this guy the whole time. And this is why RPF can be such a powerful tool. I know I've got the 1 and 2 line. I mean, I'll have to deal with some random planes, yada yada yada. The Wooster, he's spotted out here. Obviously, with my max gun circle, I can tell just at a glance that I'm radar safe. So, what I'm going to do, I mean, I could easily push up here, torp any one of these battleships for some big damage numbers, but the most impactful thing that I can do to help my team is deal with this stalemate. So I'm going to push way up here next to this island, and this island, keeping the island between me and the battleships here. I'm pretty safe. If I get detected by a plane or something, I've got an island that I can hug. I've got smoke, yada yada. Um, and I just flood this whole area with torps. And I mean, I basically lace all three sets of torps right through the portion of the island where destroyers like to hide. And I gotta admit, I was a little worried when all those torps were hitting the island and not hitting him, and then all of a sudden, pay dirt. And that's not a happy gearing. Um, and I mean, just like that, we're flipping the cap now. Um, my gearing, he doesn't have to do any sort of crazy moves. Nobody on my team has to really hang themselves out to deal with that gearing. And my Kaba and I believe their Grozavoy have basically flipped. This is going to have the effect where it's going to pull their Haragumo and their Kurfürst off to B. Kaba's just going to start kiting. F3s, I'm already under 10 seconds from my torps being up. I'm assuming these guys know that I was up here, so I am trying to see if these guys are going to react with priority target. Nothing's happening, so I'm just going to dump a really tight torpedo spread on this guy and just really stack those in there. I don't want any sort of funny business with his torpedo belt, letting that guy survive and heal. Uh, I want that guy dead. He probably feels pretty safe with this Kurfürst, all the way down here. He probably figures that this Kurfürst would be the one that torps would be launched at. And, I mean, yeah, that's a beautiful thing right there. Here comes the slot machine. Jackpot. So, already, I'm trying to line up torps for this Kurfürst. I've got 47 seconds for a torp reload. The Kurfürst takes a torp on the stern, two actually, and I see the flooding tick, so I know that this guy's flooding. Um, I don't know how long he's gonna be flooding, but basically I'm shifting from, do I shoot this guy? I see he gets lit on fire and he's just falling apart, so I'm just gonna go on ahead and start shooting him. He's not really a viable torp target at this point. And you know, just you want to get the damage in, you really got to hit the superstructure, and I do an alright job this game, really dropping my shots in on that superstructure of these battleships, and it's nice seeing those numbers pop up when you're able to drop those shots in there. I get spotted briefly by the Wooster. He knows I'm here. He's gonna pop radar, and this is a position that I would not want to be in a Kurfürst. He probably has hydro. Probably thinks that he's pretty safe. I'm gonna tell you a little trick how to get at least how to get a little piece anyway. What I'm doing, I'm trying to bait him with the priority target, and I drop two sets of torps, one way short, one on the indicator, and then the next one way short again. I'm basically anticipating this guy's going to turn in, and with how fast he turned in, it's telling me this guy may be full-blown torp spec, where he's running, vigilance, target acquisition, all of that stacks with hydro, and you can spot torps from a ridiculous distance away. But the issue is, Kurfürst is so big and sluggish, you can still get a piece of him, And it doesn't take much where, I mean, Japanese torps, they like to cause flooding. And I know this guy's repaired. Even if this guy had manual secondaries, they're not going to save him. And again, I mean, you see where my shots are hitting, all up on that superstructure. Really just going to town on that guy. And that's kill number 3. And at this stage of the game, I'm gonna... there's still some stuff going on right now. Grozovoy and my Gearing are duking it out. And my Kurfürst is, I believe, rushing this Worcester. Unfortunately, I can't see any of that stuff right now. But, I don't know what the HP levels here, but this is generally a fight that's in favor of the Grozovoy. Ideally, if you're a Grozovoy, fighting that close into a Gearing, you're giving that Gearing, you know, some advantage. But still, it's a really dicey fight, and the Gearing did a really good job winning that fight. Our Worcester goes down, or their Worcester goes down, and at this point I am just running down this Haragumo. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit so you guys aren't just sitting here watching me drive along and click the mini-map to let my team know where RPF is pointing. The Haragumo, this guy, he doesn't quit. His torps took out the Kurfürst, and he opens up, starting to shoot at the Yamato, and you know, I'm gonna smoke up and just start putting some shots into him. And this guy does a really good job juking here. Normally a ship like Haragumo's, you don't see jukes like that. This guy knows what he's doing. He's probably a pretty good player. I go on ahead, dump some torps. I know this guy's gonna kite out. He knows that torps are coming. So, you know, we're just gonna start chasing this guy. You know, we got a little bit of damage off him, broke some modules. So this Haragumo, I know he can't outrun me. I've still got a little bit of speed boost left, and I mean, he just starts in again, opening up on the Yamato, and I'm gonna start shooting this guy again. You can see he's doing the slow speed juking again, and I'm just gonna keep putting shots in on this guy. He smokes up. Now this is another really good play on his behalf, because he's able to, with his rate of fire, keep getting hits on me longer than me and this Yamato can on him, because we have slower rate of fire. So again, this is another really good play on his behalf. This is another sign that this is a skilled player. I'm going to slow this down because this is going to end the game here shortly. But this basically was a really good game about catching the flank on the enemy team and just making them pay for it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the game, and I will talk to you guys later.